Hello there, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the very first week of ETF2L Season 35, the very first week of 2020, matter of fact, if you don't count the qualifiers, which I don't think we covered anyway. So, yeah, it's the first week of the full season, and we're here with a wonderful game between the French team that hasn't changed at all since last season, and they have a different name again, which I refuse to pronounce because I can't speak French, as well as a team of newcomers in the name of Synonym of Perfection. I'm Surny, joined by Dumb on the mic and Beater on production. How's it going?
Pretty good, pretty good. Should be an interesting one. First one, like the pointers information out of the way straight away. We all know synonym of perfection is just spelled wrong, right?
Yeah, of course.
However, on QB's old team, it actually was spelled correctly once. So somewhere along the lines, they just messed it up again.
Maybe that's part of the style. Maybe it's they're like these Zoomers are coming up with new terms for their teams. Who knows? Speaking of teams, obviously, yeah. We've talked about them first, so let's speak of Synonym. A team mostly consisting of newcomers to Prem. A lot of new faces here that we have not seen play in Prem before at all. With Drezzo on the medic, we've got QB hanging out on the demo man, Scar and Warped playing the soldier roles, and Vori and Unikiko, aka Juno, as he was known before, hanging out on the scout classes. And as far as I know, only two of these players have any form of Prem experience whatsoever, and not a lot of it either. So could be interesting to see what they try to do as they're going up against the juggernaut of a team that has already stuck together for a long time. The full French loadout. We know him, we love him. Olga on the medic, Deli on the demo, Dwo and Raf on the soldiers, with Karnax and Alien Smiley on the scouts, rounding out the roster. A team that has, made some splashes, especially last season, very close to making playoffs. So they're a very solid team. They're very established.
Yeah, like the smallest of improvements every season, but I think every season it is getting upwards for them results-wise. So, I mean, if that trend is anything to go by, then you should look out for them this season. It's going to be a tough one for sure, but starting off, it will be already an interesting match to see how the newcomers, so to speak. Obviously, I believe Trezor in the past, and Warp definitely as well. But beyond that, I think everybody first time in Prem, how these new guys will stack up against this much more experienced team, both in terms of Prem history as much as just history with each other and experience with one another, having played quite a lot of time, I believe as far back as season 30, something like that, in Div 1 again.
The Frenchies have stuck together for a long time as well, though, so it's interesting, definitely. I always love seeing newer faces, new players, because you don't really know what exactly to expect from them, and somebody could just turn up. Like we had it last season as well. People turned up in their first match, and they were having a blast of a time. They were playing extremely well. Maybe we're going to see something like that out of SOP here. Maybe.
Yeah, I was positively surprised by them. I barely saw them before the actual qualifier match, but what I saw wasn't at all too bad. There was a lot of promise on that, even with obviously something still needing improvement, as you would expect from a fairly young roster. So let's see if they can put on the performance that hopefully I'm not misplacing them here, and we'll hopefully are in for a great time. And I think we were talking maybe there's going to be mercs, but it's not looking currently like that's the case. Which
no, we actually it looks like they're all playing with their mains for once.
Yeah, that's always good to see. It just means that people can play exactly the way they want to, and there's no unknown quantities. There's no no one can make excuses. Basically, both teams are, so to speak, at their best, or at least at the expected performance here.
The thing that you would expect them to do, you want to play with the people that you spend most time with, and not some substitute or merc it doesn't work together with your team, doesn't synergize. Oh god, and then you make up excuses.
Like sometimes it's just like the minor thing that is something you talked about with your teammate a lot, but the new guy obviously isn't quite aware, just tries to play standard, and that's fine if they're good at that one. But if it's just like a minor strat that's just a little bit different than they're not aware of before, in time, that could just make a big difference sometimes, and you obviously never want to let it come to that if you can decide yourself.
So yeah, good to see that these teams are excited for the first week of the season. Hopefully it's going to stick like that for the next few as well. But yeah, looking forward to the season. It's the 35th. It's been a lot of seasons as well. Time does fly. I am curious as well, because this is going to be the one leading up to the Copenhagen LAN. So you know, which ones of these teams? I mean, I'm pretty sure the Frenchies are going to be going to LAN. I would be
yes,
surprised
they are, as far as I'm aware.
As it would be surprised if it weren't. I don't know if SOP has any plans on sending this exact team to LAN or not.
I think they mentioned the other day when I was watching the qualifier match they played that currently not really, maybe some of them, but definitely not a full roster. Which is a bit unfortunate, but we have, I believe, like at least 5 Prem teams going already, which is a very good turnout. That is a really good turnout. A lot of the like projected really strong ones as well, like you would expect. Send Aura, as far as I'm aware, bound to go as well. I believe Max Team is very, very likely to go as well.
Very nice. Do love me that LAN action. But yeah, obviously these teams going to be using that to maybe even get some practice in beforehand. You know, you got to practice online. Got to get yourself warmed up, especially after the winter break now. You know, it's been a solid like month or two since the last season really wrapped up.
Oh, yes. And that was a lot of time.
There might be a little bit of rust too if people haven't been keeping up. I'd argue they probably have. You know, everybody that still plays this game loves it dearly and probably plays it a whole bunch even in their free time. But you never know. Maybe some people are gonna have to get back into it as well if they haven't spent a lot of time over the holidays and over the free time into the new year.
Everybody's no Prem teams at all, and they're wasting as much time as possible before the season starts to just cut it as close as possible to start scoring again. But when they actually start scoring again, they definitely are back on it and just practice with a very tight schedule. So let's see whose practice was worth more here, whose experience might count more or not. We'll see right now as we go into map 1, Gullywash.
Exactly. We're headed into the first round here. The teams have readied up and going to be making their way to mid. The very first round of the night. Let's see how they try to approach this mid fight and which team might be victorious at the very start here. Strong, a little bit faster by the Frenchies in general. It seemed like they were a little bit quicker there. Both soldiers going in, doing a lot of damage, but both just getting cleaned up by Raph and Dwell also cleaning up Drezzo. The players are falling on Synonym here. It's just an absolute massacre. Unikiko, alive on 1 HP, he will not escape, and Vuri was the only one to get out with his life. An absolute massacre at mid there by the Frenchies. Wonderfully done, my lord.
Such a close call to start out with as well. Olga just barely getting past this double bomb, but both are just not quite delivering. Neither Scar nor Warp quite getting the kill, so Olga staying alive makes a huge difference now for the rest of this round, assuming it will be much of any anymore. With this huge ad coming into last any moment, a gun pyro is all they really have of defense to speak of. This Uber we expect to count, and we'll see if the Frenchies can deliver.
Absolutely, they're going to be taking it in to river as it seems, straight in, looking to grab as much ground as possible. The gun very defensive though, you're not being able to pressure it very easily, especially with the pyro as well, so they're trying to pressure the point instead. They clean up whoever was down in water and they're just going to step onto the point with nobody there to defend, everybody getting knocked off. That's an easy first round.
Yeah, the gun might be far back and not easy to shut down for the blue players, but it also wasn't far enough forward to really shut them down either, so like you said, they just stack up point and just form up the damage there. Got 2 picks really quickly, including the Dowman, much important one there. And not much of any danger to be denied by this gun now.
As we're quickly headed into the second round now, after literally 1.5 minute first round, the second mid is underway. Dwo going to be the first player to go down, trying to bomb into the enemy choke. Scar also going to pick up Karnax. 2 players down now for the Frenchies. They're going to be having to play this a little bit more passively as they also lose Raph and a machine of Synonym just rolling forward now. Many players going dangerously low, but nobody going down. Very, very solid mid fight here. Definitely a better showing than last time. They tried to not go for the double bomb this time, and it turned out a little better. That being said, though, Warped and Scar both get picked up for being a little bit too aggressive, and it might cost them any pressure they could have had. They're definitely going to cap mid out here, but the Frenchies will restabilize on second.
Yeah, it's another mid-fight start now with our soldiers for SOP though, and that is obviously a tough one to fight through. Force comes out pretty early. Olga just trying to kite and get this over the first place. It doesn't quite in time!
Oh no! He couldn't get it in time, or at least couldn't right-click by the time he realized. He couldn't right-click by the time he realized that he does have Uber. There, you hate to see that, because now you didn't even get to have the better Uber, and you lose your medic too. And yeah, you're just gonna be having to give up second here. Synonym just moving forward, grabbing that as well as the French team desperately gonna be trying to set up a last hold. As,
Olga's giving SOP a freebie here. Let's see if they can make it count. Again, fairly decent advantage situation, not like huge, but as long as you're quick about it, this might just be good enough. They're building up this Uber as fast as they can. Again, Pyro Energy last, pretty standard position to be in on last hold for Gullywash last. Just trying to deflect damage from the gun, hoping it lives as long as possible and delays this Uber as much as possible with that too. Let's see if it can work.
Oh, yeah, the Uber does come in. Let's see if they can actually make much use of it. The gun goes down very, very quickly, and the pressure onto the point is going to start happening very soon. If Vori can do some cleanup, he definitely cleaned up Duo. However, Deli's going to still be alive, and the demo being alive when you're trying to hold last is something very crucial. Nobody can pressure the point, and the rest of the players are going to get cleaned up, with Drezzo, the only player alive, also going down a sadly botched last push. Not much to happen there, and yeah, French is going to be pushing back out with that full Uber to Sport as well, carrying it all the way forward to mid, making sure that nobody can even pressure them. The forward spawn is being camped, and Scar is just gonna die for it again. Still 2 people in there. Uni is actually on the sniper, seeing if he can get a cheeky pick. Not gonna happen. He's gonna back spawn, but still stay on sniper, seeing if he can catch somebody off guard as he comes through choke.
Deli's not trying to play with that too much though. He's just jumping in, trying to shut down people straight away, and everybody else as well. Just soldiers, much like the demo man, just trying to shut down space, including the forward spawn sniper, so not much happening on that front either. And as much as I was surprised they didn't actually like just stack the cap to not even have anyone forward spawn at all, they at least took care of both forward spawn on mid and second. Not get surprised by it. Now leading to a last push with still a good amount of advantage here.
Yeah, and the sentry gun again in the very same position it was last time. Very, very passive. Maybe it's going to be the same mistake again, but it looks like they're actually doing a little bit of a better job at keeping people off the point this time around, with Vori just air blasting the ever-loving crap out of anybody that tries to get close and burning up the rest of the team as well. And with the frags going in their favor, the remaining players of the combo of fakecallers here are going to have to back off again and maybe even keep moving back, because the pressure is not letting off. Synonym are moving forward. They're carrying
them though, gets the damage onto the combo. Can he get to the medic? No, there's a pyro with him too. Vori hasn't off-class, or hasn't switched from the off-class, I should say. Still on pyro, denying the damage. Drezzo will live. Karnix in the backlines too now, trying to make something happen towards the backup. Loses the 1v1 though.
Uni wins that one, and that's a secured last point for now, and they're gonna cap second off and reset this bracket for now. With an Uber as well to Sport, however, the advantage is basically gone by now. So we're going to be looking at an even Uber situation in Gullywash choke. With mid not even captured yet, so if the Frenchies want to move fast here, they could try to block the point a little bit. And Dwo is in behind, causing a little bit of a ruckus, fighting Scar right now. It's causing a little bit of a distraction. And ultimately not going to amount too much as he finds himself on single digits of HP, and he's going to get cleaned up. But maybe distraction was good enough to slow the team down ever so slightly.
Not warped, he gets through choke immediately for the force. So not anyone's getting slowed down on SOP just yet, and but can't get through choke. Vori never switched from the pyro, and just giving Olga a taste of his own medicine here.
Yeah, and they're gonna move in with their Ubo. Very, very nice jump there, but just absolutely aggressive by QB. He's not gonna actually be able to clean anything up, but Vori also in so far of the pyro. He's doing so much of the pyro right now, just putting on so much pressure.
In the meantime, eventually Raft just drops down from top, gets the kill, and suddenly this all turned around. They had so much control of Shutterdor, but nothing else here.
Yeah, and they weren't watching their backs. People were coming in from above and cleaning up all the damage. Ultimately, Deli and Olga are going to be surviving and having that 75, almost 80% advantage now to boost. That is a massive advantage to roll forward with here. And if Synonym don't do anything about it, don't try to get a force out of it, or maybe even drop, you know, it's Olga we're talking about, they will probably have to give up the second point too. It's going to be very rough for them. And I'm going to be seeing how they try to approach this hold here, as the Frenchies actually slow down ever so slightly. They're looking to move forward here through choke. You know, Raph jumps in a little bit, making a little bit of room for his team. The rest follow up, and yeah, some of them just backs out. They don't want to fight this at all. They want to bide their time. They want to wait for their own Uber, and if they have to, they're going to be fighting it on last, which looks like what they're doing.
Definitely the right choice for SOP. Just get this Uber instead of risking anything for an early force. The Uber comes out eventually into last by the Frenchies. SOP with the Uber now out to respond. Scar dying in the meantime is a bit sketchy, but they get the combo out, getting a trade on the Karnix with the death of Scar eventually. So, long story short, is one down each. Ubers have been traded, but not the small advantage push the Frenchies have been looking for. SOP can sit a little bit longer on last, or can they? The Frenchies just rushing the flank over Vori straight away, get a pick. Again though, they are aware of it. Warped on Noah gets another pick in the 1v1 stuck with Alien. These 2 weak to really win it will go down. The Heavy and the Dowman is all they really have. Scar's really weak in the 1v1 as well, kind of barely hanging on with life though.
Oh, Alien does slip through, and he tries to get a little bit of cap time onto the point there. However, he's gonna get pushed off again, and now he's basically caught in. He does actually escape, surprisingly, with his life. And that's gonna be a reset on that push. Finally, it took them long enough. Karnak's hiding here in the locker room as well. There's absolutely no way he's gonna get away with this. Is he? He might actually get away with this. No one's on last.
No one's checking it. There's no way.
He's gonna get away with this.
Anything? No.
He can't get away with it. He got away with it. I cannot believe it.
This is so sad.
That is actually just sad. The one place nobody checked was obviously the place that he was hiding. It was such an obvious one as well. Ah, damn. Well, that's the second round for the Frenchies here. An upsetting one to lose, absolutely, for Synonym, because that's the one you hate losing to. But we're going to be heading into the third round with 20 minutes left. Anything can still happen as the teams make their way forward here. Again, Delhi, surprisingly a lot faster. Like a surprising amount faster than QB, but ultimately nothing much comes of it just yet. The teams try pressuring without Drezzo and Scar both going down. Actually, no heals for the side of Synonym, and the rest of the players are going to start falling very quickly because of it. Vori is the only player left trying to put any damage down or any kills. Not going to happen. That's another wipe, and Frenchie's just dominating that mid yet again.
Yeah, really great early damage between just general spam over point with the player in deep as well. Everything just worked out impeccable for the French side. SOP stuck on last with big disad, and Keko on Sniper, hoping that can be the change they need. The big play upcoming out of the Sniper. But they have to peek the sideline first of all. Never stacking up the push, buffing everyone up, capping second, getting ready for this. Para and Vori as well now, switching to Heavy. Not wanting to run the hero shot as much as just the consistency of this damage sponge of the Heavy class.
And yeah, there comes the Uber in again through the river's side. No sentry this time, just a bunch of players looking to put pressure onto the point. Karnax together with Raph putting a lot of pressure on. However, the cleanup, dude, oh no. I was about to say they're gonna get pressured off, but the frags start falling in the meantime as the Uber fades. They have damage already dealt, and that's a quick third round as well, going in the French team's favor.
Yeah, really nice early kills yet again, and you have 2 ways to deal with a Heavy or last like that. Either you focus on last or focus on first. They chose last, took care of everything else towards point fairly quickly, got the cap time, forced him out to drop down, and that's just an easy pick at that point. Well done for the French side. 3-0 lead, really strong round so far.
Yeah, and considering that it's only been about 10 minutes, that is a very quick lead as well. Headed into the 4th mid now, and a lot of spam being exchanged. First player to die is actually going to be QB. No demo man for the SOP team here. That's a lot of damage you're lacking, and you don't want that when you're trying to win a mid fight. Ultimately, only Scar is the only player left in, as he is in behind. Two actually going to pick up Uni, was trying to back out and choke. Scar is still up behind on very low HP. He's going to be backed off, so he's out of the battle effectively as well for a while here. With only 4 players forward, yeah, the Frenchies are taking every opportunity to just roll this train, continue moving forward. Absolutely no mercy at all, as Scar is slowly behind, just trying to see if he can make anything happen. It's not looking good. And yeah, he's going to be cleaned up. However, they didn't lose their medic at mid. They played that mid very passively for once. They didn't get wiped, and Drezzo does have his Uber up. So, we're gonna see an even Uber situation for this last hold.
Right, here comes the point play with a bomb in as well. Drow getting shot down early. Karnax even, sorry, my bad. Getting shot down by the stickies as well. So they are aware of what's going on here. They don't want to have this like multi-direction pressure towards point happening too much. 2 picks is okay, but maybe not great. Push out of last. They trying anyway. Warp gets the Uber onto him pretty early, much later Uber by Olga. Usually that ends much better as well, with Vori getting dropped in this. They're chasing really deep on the French side, wanting Drezzo to die. Scar stopping Alien for now, but there's a lot of momentum here with the picks they have.
They definitely do. Those early Ubers, they are very scary when you can't catch people off guard, and that's exactly what happened there.
They on last as well. Drezzo in so much trouble. Karnax gets into now. They need to save him. They barely do.
How do they hang on? I cannot believe it. Frenchies just keep sending in players, and they can't keep getting away with it. God damn, SOP hanging on yet again, even after a terrible Uber like that. They can manage to push out even with the disadvantage now. They have the players, at very least, to pressure back the Frenchies. and actually take back the second point. Let's see for how long they will be able to hold on. Karnax as well. Looking to play sniper, it seems.
Yeah, a bit surprising given the Uber situation. Maybe they're not quite aware after the exchange, just lost a bit of track. It sometimes happens.
Especially when it gets that messy. It's
yeah,
not.
exactly.
You can't blame him for losing track of the Uber situation there, but it's gonna be interesting to see what he tries to accomplish here. He's looking at that big door. Scar is very close. He sees that sniper dot. Ooh.
Worst case scenario, it's like they're 3-0 up right now. They're already baiting on the first kill, but they're 3-0 up. They are the ones that can dictate the pace right now. If it's slow, it's still fine.
Definitely.
Sure, a 5-0 win is faster, but it's still a win if they just get this down to time. And with another pick, they have the chance. Raph behind in the backlines right now, just bullying Unikeko out of the sniper class.
Not happening. You want to play sniper? No, only our player is allowed to do that. As the Uber exchange does happen in Big Door with little to no things to come of it, Duo being the only player to go down, and I believe that even happened before the exchange really started.
Oh, he got stuck there though on low ground. Everybody needs to just come back quickly. Everybody just ditched him for a little bit, but no, they come back just in time. They will live, but they don't have good positioning. A faster rotation towards choke might be great. They're still looking to try, but they're giving them a lot of time on the French side, and they're trying to come up now. Everybody's back on high ground. This might just have taken too long. Unfortunately, the idea was there. Execution just not quite ready, so SOP won't get mid out of this one. Karnax still on sniper as well. Obviously, always something they have to keep in mind.
He can be a very scary sniper at times. When this man hits his stride, he is quite a force to be reckoned with, and there's going to be the first shot opening up onto Scar a little bit. That man is now low on HP. He's out of the fight for ever so slightly. Karnax just walking forward, no respect at all. Uni missing his shots there as well, and just giving him a lot of space. He's lucky that Karnax didn't hit the shot ultimately onto his prized possession there, being Drezzo, but that is a scary play to just let happen. And they're definitely going to be aware of shutting down that sniper more now. They don't want to give Karnax any more room than they possibly can give him. And they're going to play around those sniper sightlines, knowing that he is in Big Door.
Yeah, it's still a scary prospect though, because one mistake could just potentially end the round. And 3-0 is bad enough as is. Oh, would be much worse. Demo down is such a good pick to get here.
Speaking of mistake, just ever so slightly too far out in the open by QB, and he's going to go down, pay with his life. Also, Warped picking up Dwo just before the exchange, but Raph picking up Scar in exchange. Karnax picking up a second kill onto Warped as well. Uni going to be cleaning up Raph, but that's a big player advantage. That was a better Uber out of the Frenchies there, and they're going to be able to grab second and maybe even pressure forward into lobby ever so slightly with Karnax still on the sniper as well. He's just looking. He's peeking. He's looking around. He's seeing what he can do. Maybe he's going to find another cheeky pick. They are aware of him now, and I would really be surprised if they let another player die to him in a comedic manner, but you never know. You never know. A lapse, a momentary lapse in attention can lead to the sniper being a very dangerous thing. Yeah, holding far forward, they're definitely putting Drezzo in a safe position here, trying to make sure that he does not get picked off, and pressuring in as well, Deli trading himself in for Scar, effectively, so not much happening here. Olga already up on his Uber, Drezzo only on 80%, coming up slowly, but the Frenchie's so scared. With one player down and the sniper, you're effectively two players down, so they have to play much more passively here as well. And the Warp's just putting so much pressure on up top. His team now following up, Rory back on the Pyro again.
Olga eats a pipe, and to be careful, Warp with a jump in deep. They're popping through with this. Olga eventually using, still dropping Duo. Everybody else mostly just getting out of choke. They're not really all together though. They kind of just kite out of this as much as they can. Don't want a weak medic post-Uber in front of 6 other red players. Playing it safe. Scar with the drop down jump, having a great opportunity, not hitting the air shot he needed though. Really unfortunate. 2 down. Maybe they play with it with a sniper. Difficult though.
It's very difficult, especially Karnax hasn't died in a while either, so he doesn't really have a reason to switch off yet, but slowly, he's not really putting in as much work. Oh, no, there you go, he hit a nice headshot onto QB, cleaning up with a Deli, and the Pyro now trying to hold down anything here. Vori gonna find himself outclassed very quickly with all these spam classes. He does escape with his life, only barely, and with no demo man up on second, this is basically a free point here for the Frenchies. If they can pressure out these players up top with Scar going dangerously low. They do pick up Deli, actually, but I believe the French team is gonna be able to cap second here.
Oh, look at Vori in lobby. He's waiting for something, but Dwo is checking out lobby before any of the rest of his team, which is a wise decision to make there. Vori not getting anything out of it. Will get out alive at least. Demo down right now doesn't lend itself to a fast push for the Frenchies regardless of the Evo situation, which is dead even as we speak, regardless of that. To begin with a sniper still on top of things, not great opportunity as well, so they're just playing slow, relying on Carnix again, and just making this game a little bit of a longer one for themselves, maybe, assuming this works eventually. Otherwise, maybe they just give them too much time for a potential comeback, but so far SOP just really needs to find some better ways to deal with the sniper in the first place.
Now we're just like find some better ways to break more than 2 players at a time, because I believe they have managed to kill more than 2 players on the French team for the past 5 or so minutes.
With so much cap time, will
oh
live
my
to
god!
ditch his point for a little
He's
bit.
still alive too. Okay, they finally managed to clean him up, but Vori dies in the process as well. To some nice spam.
Ooh, there comes the snipe.
Oh no! That's what you hate to see. You hate to see it. The wonderful headshot by Carnex onto Drezzo. That's a drop, and the Uber comes in to clean up the scrambling remaining players here, with Uni being the last one to go down.
And Daddy just capping this one up. This is what I was talking about earlier, right? There's so many different ways you can approach this last one from to just make some sort of play. If you just do a lot of them well together, as Carnex plays point, rest of them spam, and the sniper just abuses one little opportunity there with people trying to dodge different things, having to deal with point, it can spiral out of control really fast, and the Frenchies abused that one perfectly.
Yeah, they played that very, very well, and Carnex finally making use of that sniper as we're headed into the 5th round, which could be our final one if the Frenchies do keep up their momentum here. Nice early bomb by Scar, only picking up Alien though, before getting cleaned up himself. 3 other players, 4 other players also
just
dying.
Cleaning up all of point there.
That is another wipe right there. So even though we saw an early bomb in by Scar, he couldn't make much happen with it, and ultimately left his team to doom, as the French soldiers came in and mulched literally everything, wiping yet again at mid. It's starting to look like Gullywash might not be SOP's map. Maybe I'm giving out hope for them that it's just the map right now. Maybe they're not having a good time because of it, but ooh, it's looking a little rough. It's hoping they can hang on.
Well, lots of damage. Joe playing aggressive as well. Both teams playing fairly aggressive given the situations. Obviously, Red SOP with much of reason at the moment. They need something fast, but the Frenchies aren't going down with either. They're just straight glass with the soldier picks from lobby. Drezzo all alone. Rust late out of spawn. Alien taking care with Daddy onto the demo man as well.
And yep, that's going to be it. QB couldn't quite get to the point in time, and that's going to be the 5-0-4. Our French team of the fake callers.
I guess the calls were actually pretty good this map, because this will look fairly organized, everything is running rather smooth, and just nice, simple game plan executed really, really well, like you would expect any good Prem team to be able to do, and they're certainly showing you might be in Prem now as well, but you are not yet as good as we are. You have some work cut out for you, and we'll see if like any sort of improvement can happen towards the second map, let alone for the rest of the season. That's a much different story, but for this match alone, what counts now is the Snakewater performance of SOP.
Absolutely, because this first map, it might have been a roll, but they got to put that behind themselves and immediately move on. Set the sights onto Snakewater and see if you can pull anything out of your magic hat there. Do anything, because especially mentally after just a map like that, it might be a little rough for some of these players. And I mean, the logs reflect it, there's not much to glean, obviously. Yeah, a dominating performance by the French team here over the newcomers, and pretty much every stat perfectly reflects that as well.
Only 5 deaths on the demo man, you love to see it. That's my favorite stat on demo man, just not ever dying really. Just means you play safe with your team, and Daddy making a good show for that one right now. And I mean, he gets rewarded as well with a lot of damage, which makes the stat people like to look at instead a lot more pretty. 402 DPM, certainly nothing to scoff at here.
Well, it does stand out though. Warped also doing a lot of damage for his team here. Despite being in a losing position, he was putting in a lot of work. You gotta give him that.
The soldiers tried really, really hard to make stuff happen for the team. But if the timing is just weird, either for yourself or for the rest of the team to do something much with the bomb, it's just a little bit unfortunate every time to see people go in and not get quite enough. And there were so many mids. I mean, remember the one with Scarty, and you complained in the chat as well in French that he did like 1 million damage and nothing died. But there were a couple of those mids, starting with the first one as well, right? They always dealt so much damage, but there was not quite enough follow-up ever, and things just barely live. Olga lived with like 20 HP on the first mid, but he just didn't die, and it immediately was around in like a minute and 25 seconds. We had 3 of those rounds, let alone. So the pace just was unstoppable if there's just not that little bit of damage.
And if they manage to get that little bit of cleanup damage going, I feel like this could be a much more even matchup on a second map. Again, I did say maybe Gullywash just isn't their map. Maybe, they've been having trouble with it. Who knows? Get a rough map at the start. Maybe they will perform a lot better on Snakewater. We're gonna have to see whether or not they can obviously pull that off. It's a different beast entirely. It's a map that plays very differently to Gullywash. I mean, as differently as you can play a 5CP map, to be fair. It's the CSGO thing. Every map is kind of like Dust 2 in CSGO. Every map, is kind of like Process to an extent. There's tunnels, there's mains, there's lobbies, but
well, especially newer maps are always like Process.
Yeah,
that's
definitely
something I
the newer
noticed.
ones.
Which is kind of a shame. My favorite map is Gullywash, and I think most of the things that make it unique are also the things that I think make it arguably a really, really interesting map to play with. Like, it's much smaller. It's having like the underside alone. I mean, we saw it in this round, in at one round where the drop came in with Karnix's snipe, right? Where just the underside makes you be able to play point this much more than on many other maps. And it just adds, I think, so much to the map. Snakewater is a much, much different beast of a map. If you just like hover over it, I mean, you immediately recognize that it's just much, much more linear. Everything's just fairly straightforward. And that means that anything you try to do is a lot easier to anticipate for the other team, a lot easier to try to contest with from the holding perspective. So it often lends itself to much slower games. Mid-fights are a bit interesting because you do actually have a great option to flank around, be it through just a jump deep behind them or just going kitchen all the way around. So mid, I think, is the one area where you have like the most freedom to do something fancy, or you can also just play really slow. And I think Snakewater mid is, because of that, often really interesting. I'm curious to see how these teams approach this.
Also, just something about Gullywash is it's a much more I don't want to say claustrophobic because it's not as bad as say Badlands, but it is definitely less open than say Snakewater. Snakewater has a lot of bigger doors, even though Gullywash has the big door. Like Snakewater in general, it's in my experience has bigger sight lines and like greater vision. You can watch more entrances from just single positions much more easily without having to be too passive and stuff like that. So it's going to be, as you said, easier to anticipate just because you can see more. You can see when things are happening from way earlier, and flanking is going to be a lot harder for
well,
these
but
teams
this brings us back around to like,
Maybe.
sure, you can see, but it doesn't mean you will see things, and that brings us back
Also
to the
true.
backup from earlier. They just need to have the awareness. Sure, like that backup is a little bit of a different story from what we're talking about right now, because obviously we're talking about like wide open areas and just a player behind sneaking past you somehow. But the concept applies, not even ignoring the fact that you do have the option to somehow sneak past people in this like wide lobby with the lower area as well. So I mean, backups on this map are not too uncommon. The SOP, as much as the French team, I guess, as well, fakecallers have to be careful about these sort of things.
There's a lot of cheeky hiding spots indeed. I'm curious. I'll be seeing. Do you think that the French team is going to continue that momentum, that they're going to keep carrying it forward, or you think that SOP is going to, stabilize a little bit, going to reassure themselves, going to, leave that last map behind themselves, and going to look forward and maybe perform more evenly on this one?
I'm a firm believer that maps can make a decently big difference for teams, for sure. However, I think what we've seen here just now out of the French side, out of fakecallers, was good enough to reasonably assume that the differences here between these teams are just too big to overcome this easily, just off maps and a little bit of, I guess, time and like effort learned what's gonna go on for this match. But yeah, with that all being said, the Frenchies should take this home. I would be highly surprised if they didn't. That would be a massive underperformance after how just well, really, not like super amazing, but by no means anything close to bad. Just really clean gameplay overall on that last map. So yeah, I'm gonna give it to the Frenchies.
Very, very reasonable approach. Obviously, everybody loves an underdog story, and even if they just pick up a few rounds, I'd love to see it out of SOP. It's their game to play now. Basically, they have to make the moves here. They're already down a map. If they want those points against probably one of the less difficult opponents that they're going to face this season. It's no Ascent, it's no Egg yet, so they're gonna be facing harder teams later on down the line as well. So if they want to make Want to see what they can put up here. Measure themselves a little bit, measure up, and see where they can go. This is their opportunity to do it. This is their opportunity to also show the world and show us what they are capable of. And I hope we'll see a lot of it as teams are hopefully raring to get readied up any minute.
I think Dwo and Warp just had a TF2 fashion talk, and it's kind of cute that they recognize which cosmetics they used at I-65. So shoutouts to just that as a whole. Very wholesome interaction. Big fan.
Remembering your homies' cosmetics in TF2. It's an integral part, isn't it?
I mean, like if somebody stays consistent with what they use, like it's like if you watch a game, you just kind of recognize it eventually, I guess. But
many people do stay with the same loadout for a very long time. Some people change it up very frequently. It depends on, it depends on how much money you feel like spending on pixels.
I can't believe we didn't have them easy in the qualifier game, because we could have seen it Cape Banana, even though I'm pretty sure he hasn't used that in the pre-game scrims or whatever, or the scrims they had beforehand, regardless. So, that's my favorite load of all time, I think.
It's the thought that counts. Either way, it looks like we're actually getting started. So let's see how this first mid of our second map of Snakewater is going to go. Both teams making their way to mid again. Deli slightly faster than QB here, opting for the Sol rollout instead. And the mid is a go. Teams exchanging spam. Warp going for an early bomb here onto Dwo, being the only player that was really there. Nobody else for him to find, and yeah, he's gonna pay with his life for that. Scar was trying to follow up, didn't happen either. Uni getting caught out. Vori trying to stay alive, not gonna happen. However, QB and Drezzo, at least for now, seem to be looking like they have a chance of escaping if they can shake off Raph and Karnax here.
At least as well.
Ooh, yeah, Drezzo might have a rough time staying alive. And he's not going to be able to, unfortunately. All the way into last is where they chased him, and they managed to clean him up.
Unfortunately, I won't even stay alive for the trade as well. That's really unlucky. I mean, this is a demo pick at least. Might waste some time. Very aggressive as well, straight onto Olga. Barely anything with it. He doesn't have the shots quite ready though. Second jump by Warp. Eventually,
he
just
gets
good
it.
enough. Actually, a snipe was the thing that killed him at the end
of all the things, the snipers were
second one as well.
Nice shot here.
Snipe. I can snipe too.
Yeah, Uni's getting warmed up, I feel. He's getting those shots off now. Buying his team a little bit more time here as they find themselves, in an advantage position now, with Olga still dead and not healing anybody. Actually 25% up on their side, which is quite something. I'm surprised they took so long to cap mid there. They were chasing very deep, and I guess they decided to not leave anybody behind.
Yeah, I think what this boils down to is that they just feel really confident after 5-0. They need to... I mean, feeling yourself is nice and all, but you can't be too overconfident. Drezzo getting bumped by Ra, staying alive over the rest of the team as well. 2 down with Karnax dying in the backlines as well. Prime opportunity to start taking some space. Olga could reasonably assume to have big disadvantage too, but someone on the lines, some healing messed up for Drezzo, I would assume.
Yeah, and it looks like they've basically made it up by now. With QB trying to peek forward, getting picked up though. No demo. That's gonna put a little bit of a damper on things for SOP here, and they're immediately backing off. They're not gonna be able to do much with that, and we're looking at a little bit of a reset here, where the French is actually moving forward into lower, it seems. They opted out of Saw, and they're looking to push the yard instead. And going very far forward, Raph bombing in, standing on the fence, just putting down a little bit of damage. There's a bit of damage being exchanged. People still low on SOP as well, waiting to be healed up, and it's just a lot of pressure coming in and out, and no real push being committed yet. Both of these teams are waiting for like a real opening for somebody to mess up and just be ever so slightly too aggressive to overextend or die to a random spam pipe, but nothing happened, and they ultimately choose to back off again and rotate over to Saw, or at least it seems so.
Gotta respect at least playing to save, not, like you said, trying to just get caught out with something random here, and realizing when they're on, like, attempted push doesn't accomplish much. Double bomb towards Saw, Scar from one side, Warp from the other, working quite well, catching out Dwo, getting Karnax weak, but Alien the one getting the counter frag in the end, so it will only be a 1-for-1 trade. Nothing crazy coming out of it with the nice little attempt there, unfortunately. Frenchie's the one actually still trying to make the move here. There, 1 down, doesn't matter. Raph tries to bully his way through, but yeah, nice stickies for Kiwi.
Gets caught out by the stickies, and that's going to be 2 players down, with Dwo only just now respawning. A little bit of pressure seeing here now by SOP. They're going to be trying to move this forward a little bit, ever so slightly, just putting in the pressure, and they're actually going to be popping off very early. Olga far back though. He knows that Uber was going to come in, and he's going to have the better one to respond with here. No players dropping at all. Warped actually the only player to go down, even though they had the worst Uber. Scar very aggressive here as well. Oh, he does get Olga. He does get him. Okay.
He's still 2 down though.
Very
He
crucial.
bombed by the soldier there. It's Wow in lobby gets Drezzo. Everybody in with this as well. They just want all of them to die now.
And it looks to be working. Yeah, I mean they do lose Raph there towards the tail end as well, but Warped the only player alive, and he literally just respawns. So if he can hold off 3 players for long enough, he might be able to buy his team enough time here. The 2 respawners are here, so they're gonna be able to, at least for now, hang on to last with a slight Uber this ad. And we're gonna be seeing how the French team tries to approach this push here. So Sentry goes up for SOP.
Yeah, that desperate attempt at last out. Olga spawning on crits as well, so the gun obviously highly mandatory right now, even if they're not quite aware. However, with the snipe, there's a lot of damage missing already. The crits makes up for some of that, but the question is if that is enough. Scar dying, eventually cleaned up by Dwo, helps the situation quite a bit, but crits into gun and sniper is just not at all a favorable position. You have to deal with the thing that just doesn't take crits. The sniper can't hit you while you have your charge going. Very awkward position, but obviously you kind of have to expect these off classes, so let's see if they can make it work with Deli on the charge.
Oh, first sticky is not a hit, and the second one is not either, unfortunately. He does only clean up a QB towards the tail end there, and as long as, I mean, yeah, those crit stickies just getting cleaned up. Very unfortunate crits usage, only killing 1 player. Now Drezzo coming up on his own Uber and using it, making sure that the rest of his team at least stays alive. Raph still in behind, though. Gonna get pressured out or bullied out by Warped here.
They try to extend so far into lobby though, and they just don't have the numbers for it. The Salties, they so quickly in this last push. QB, last one up, first one to spawn, I should say, and that's just not good enough. That was really surprising. They were waiting patiently for their own Uber on their half of this last point. Once the crits faded, it was just about ready, but the soldiers bombed so far ahead of them that they just couldn't get saved by the beam in time. So they didn't lose just the demo man to this crit, but also the soldiers indirectly by just playing too aggressively without the Uber being ready. That's 3 down. Still trying to play into lobby like this, much too risky, and definitely an easy round to get from that point on for the Frenchies.
Yeah, that overextension towards the end there was the ultimate downfall, unfortunately. Let's see, though, how they approach the second mid. Well, maybe we're going to be seeing something different. Maybe we're going to be seeing more of the same as both teams, as again, just prodding forward, changing a little bit of spam, shooting each other, but not much happening just yet. A bomb does go in, and Scar gonna whiff on that. However, Deli also gonna go down. Oh.
Alright, and with that, there's still 1 medic left though after this mid-fight. Drezzo might have gone down, but Olga protecting himself if no one else is doing it with some arrows warped. Not able to chase him down and worry, much too late to the party. So with that being said, they might be stuck on last for now, but at least with a 1-out scoreline in their favor, and as well as a little bit of a safety net to make sure there won't be a good push coming in, at least that alone even 1 in the first place once they do get. So we'll see how they play this, but no, they are forward. They want to get onto second before this is all over.
Yeah, I mean, SOP happened to just be extremely passive there as well. They did cap off second, but ultimately they couldn't hold it, and the Uber does get forced out of Olga, which at least that's some saving grace. You know, you had your soldiers in before losing them. They managed to at least, you know, force out the Uber there, and they're going to be able to hold on to their own advantage now when trying to hold mid. But let's see, the Frenchies, they just seem to want to roll it forward. They don't slow down. They know that Drezzo's probably not up on Uber just yet. He's getting there just now, and if he's gonna have to pop, then he might very well do that. Dwo and Alien both down, and the Uber does go out a little late, actually, with everybody else already popped out, or much rather backed out. It almost feels like a waste just trying to secure that area, making sure that they move back.
Desperately trying to chase more, but it's not looking to be anyone getting caught here, so sure they lost 2, but not much more beyond that. Question is if it's all worth it. They are back in the same position as before. Uber advantage on last, and SOP not stopping. Daddy taking down. Uber forced out fairly quickly there with Warp in deep. QB dying as well here with Warp definitely having no way to escape, eventually dying in the backlines. Means they lost 2 for this as well. Both teams just trading 2 players for the Uber every time right now. The cycle needs to break, and Scar behind wants to end it with a back cap. Has to deal with a soldier down. He's way too weak to win this one. Alien actually want to clean him up in the end.
And valid attempt, however, it's going to be looking like they're going to be having to back off here with constantly being 2 players down as well. Losing those 2 players towards the tail end there, especially Scar trying to back cap. It's just puts you at a very bad position. Even if you do have the Uber, you're just lacking a lot of firepower now. And while they can use the threat of the Uber to try and pressure out the team here, Drezzo's gonna get forced off by Karnax, even though Karnax did die before he even had to pop. Unfortunately, yeah, he's also still blind. Unfortunately, it does not look like they're going to be able to do much with the second here. They might be moving forward, and they do get an early pick onto Delhi here, but the Uber does come out of Olga, and this is basically the nail in the coffin for this attempt at second. I would be surprised if they managed to make much more out of this. They do have 3 players in, just pressuring around and kiting the Uber very well, but ultimately, the superior DM just cleans up Rory, QB, and Warp there. Scar does come in trying to make something happen, but even that doesn't happen. They do lose Olga, but ultimately hold on to second.
Meanwhile, on the other side, on Lars, Daddy is getting a little bit of spawn camp action towards himself, but Alien had to maybe just come back, clean up. No, he actually
oh my
the
god.
fight.
Uni's okay. I was about to say, he can't stay alive throughout that. He already got the cheeky pick. He's not going to be able to live for much longer. At the very least, he managed to trade his life while caught in behind for another scout. So, it wasn't all in vain. And it's going to allow his team to recap mid. So, let's see where it takes these guys.
Wild, we have a fight on Lars to decide who caps mid. You don't see that too often, but here we are. This game has been messy for a little bit now. Frenchies really need to regain composure, otherwise maybe this just is too much in favor of SOP eventually in these messy fights. For now, Vori getting that on, ends any attempt to play fast with this 20% ad they have. And not much more probably is going to come off it. Kanex peeking for some opportunity, but no, people are aware, not letting him through. So this will go back to an even stalemate for now, and given the pace we've been on so far, this might just be better actually for the Frenchies than for SOP.
Yeah, I mean they're in the they are up a score. They're in the defender position. You know, the defender's advantage is very real, and with the even Ubers, the ball is in the court of SOP here. They have to make the move. They have to land the shot from the half-court line. They have to make something happen here. And the Frenchies really just have to sit back and respond. They have to play reactively if they want to secure this one. Even though it would be a slow and boring game, we do have Vori on the sniper though. He does get spotted out, unfortunately, by Raf, who's very far forward, not protecting their sniper well enough. He did have a nice
the drop comes out just before the damage towards this entry to Saw. Really unfortunate for Dress. Vori and Sniper dying as well. I don't know if he really wants the medic there, but they certainly did catch that one too. Now it's just 4 red players struggling to do something with their lives here. Scar, QB both going down fairly quickly. 2 still left alive. Warped and Nikako in the lower area here. And looking like only one of them is getting to start this backup now.
He is pretty much left alone though. Raf and now Alien and Olga finally wrapping back, trying to stop him.
Scout as well gets the force up to Olga somehow. I had no idea where Vori was, but he makes it count.
And I guess he just came in from behind throughout the entire situation, just ran up on Olga and scared the ever-loving crap out of him. Managed to force him. Very, very crucial play. They're now basically equalizing the Uber charges, allowing them to actually get back into this fight without having to worry about it too much, and managed to pressure back the French players here. Karnax going down as well. Daly being picked up much rather. And it's looking to go into the favor of SOP here actually, with many players also low on the French team. They're going to be able to just maybe clean up some of this damage, or at least just pressure them out with it and actually take second too. They can continue rolling this momentum forward. They might even be able to catch Frenchies out before they can set up a proper defense.
Yeah, no, that one last already is a pretty decent opportunity. Gun barely up, gets taken down fairly quickly. They're trying to make something happen through left side. They have small ad, Warp call out a little bit. Really weak, same with Raf, both in trouble. They're both going down as he was now ready, forced by Draw pretty quickly. Lots of trades coming out, but no, it's just Vori on the point while everybody's busy living or avoiding this Uber, I should say. Everybody's
so concentrated on the entire team coming in and popping their Uber. They didn't really pay attention to Vori just walking onto the point. That's going to equalize it 1-0 for both of these teams with about half of the map time left. Let's see how they're going to approach this third mid that we're going to be heading into here. And if there's going to be any special place to look out for. Scar going very fast into the enemy's kitchen there, while Dwo and Raf both bomb in above. Huge bomb onto Drezzo. Do not manage to clean him up though. Lots of damage, but ultimately both of them go down, and Scar, while he does go behind, he does get cleaned up. Still, a player's advantage now for SOP here. They might be looking to make some use of it. Olga eating a rocket in his face. Uni just in the face of Deli there, cleaning him up. There was some spam of Warped, and that's gonna be a mid-sealed for SOP.
Maybe
and,
some more Warp coming in aggressively onto Olga. Misses a few rockets though. Everybody's coming with it onto low ground. They really want this to work. Will have to use early though.
Yeah, and they're gonna be exchanging the Ubers as the consequence. Warp going aggressive there, just trying to chase. It's wonderful to see, but ultimately it looked like it didn't work out as his team is now crumbling, falling down. And yeah, that's gonna be a wipe. They went too far forward. They bit off a little bit too much. Cut off a little bit of a too big of a slice of the cake.
The spawn camp comes in. Are they aware of it? It looks like they are. Yeah, no one's falling forward just yet. I appreciate the not you boring to reload and just throwing pipes at the doorway as well. just in case.
Making sure. Just, you know, you never know. It's extra damage that you can possibly... But Uni's still in the forward spawn. They might think that he could have... Okay, there you go.
He's not allowed to have on there. Delhi making sure of that.
Spawn. No fun allowed, no sniping allowed. Well, that being said, Uni is still on sniper, on last now instead, and let's see how the Frenchies try to approach this last push. We're about 25% up on the Uber, more like 20 at this point. But either way, SOP also building very quickly, and they do switch Uni over to the heavy instead, seeing if they can hold this, maybe get up on their own Uber before the one of the Frenchies fades. As a lot of pressure comes in with the Uber charge, not much happening yet. Raf picking up Vori and Deli picking up Warped respectively, however. The players falling. Now the Uber does come out of Drezzo, and it's enough to save his players for a little bit, but whoa, the only player going down on the side of the French team here. Uni, the last player alive, and he's not going to be able to defend the point that easily.
Yeah, and after a really long, really messy round that led to SOP getting back into the tie, just relatively quick, and a very clean one on last as well, just very simply cleaned up everything in front of them by the Frenchies, making it a 2-1 game, back in the lead. Maybe they can play this a little bit more structured now that the mess is over. Maybe they just needed to somehow sort that out and get back into the game. They seem to have gotten their stride back. They lost it for a little bit, and we're headed into the 4th mid here now as the teams try to make something happen. This map can still be anybody's game. Raf bombing very aggressively, trying to get onto the team. However, he does not find the medic. He only finds Warped and Uni, both of which clean him up. Huge bomb by Draw. The 2-for-1 special gets the medic, gets the scout, and now his team is being set up for success here. Ooh, big fight by Deli too. They're just on one right now. But Warped and Unikako are still around, trying to get him to Olga. Has the medic in front of him. He does get it. Wonderfully done. They took the entire team throwing themselves at Olga, but they do manage to kill him. So at the very least, they salvage the Uber this sad out of that mid-wipe that they essentially had. So let's see how they manage to hold on beyond that. And they're actually going to be able to stump the second push for a little bit as well. Maybe even hold it off. Yeah, they're going to be able to pressure out these mosquitoes trying to prod forward. And Alien actually going to get cleaned up for overextending. As Scar was sacking himself in, seeing if he could make a play. Actually, no, did he get picked up by a trap? I think I got picked up by a trap and cheese instead. I did not notice if that was the case. Either way, fairly even with the late death onto Olga, obviously slight edge to Dresser, but probably not enough to make a play, at least not a great one, you would assume. So this will likely stalemate, waste some time, still 12 minutes left. Only 1 round deficit, not too much to ask for just yet, but they still need to break through here, and actually they do try to dare and push here. Yeah, they actually pop in through kitchen very, very aggressively, very early. Olga already very far back though. He saw them coming from a mile away and went back together with his 2 scouts. Now going to respond with the Uber of his own, just rolling the cart forward on Alien here. Just solo beaming the entire way while the rest of the team gets cleaned up, and only Vori is alive. Maybe he can get onto Olga here, but it's gonna be looking tough with 2 people protecting him, and that's not gonna work out. Unfortunately, he's also going to go down. That's another wipe for SOP. And it's not looking like they get forwards either, so no one able to make a surprise play there. That was interesting though, because Daddy was kind of stuck at mid in choke, I believe it was, and they just figured out if we play fast now, we might be able to reach him with our beam and save him before the rest of them find him. Wasn't quite the case, he died right in front of Olga. However, the pace they were on at that point already made it so that they will catch a lot of things, as you saw. And it just was a matter of consequences at that point to kill everything there. Really well done. Now on to Lars with disadvantage as well. Gun up, already weak. Maybe it can be saved a bit, maybe Rory can save it on Sniper too. Yeah, he does have that Sniper up.
However, I don't think it's going to do much as Olga already pops in again. Dreza only on 80% on his own, so there's no Uber just yet to respond with. However, he's slowly coming up on it, and he's not getting pressured at all. So he's actually going to be able to get an Uber with the frags going their way as well, with Raftuo and Alien all going down. Only losing QB. Yes, it is your demo, but only losing one player while holding Laster added this position is a very solid hold, and they're going to be looking to roll it forward a little bit.
Get some damage out. Most of Trinity's not daring to fight this though, and just kind of giving it up. It is a very recontestable point with Uber to set, obviously a little bit scary, but maybe you just throw some players at it and try to sack for the force. They want to play it safe, they are in the lead here, they want to risk too much. Sky in a bit early onto mid, barely getting out alive. Draw in the same situation, just barely getting those Carnix in the backline tower. Easy pick onto QB, and Scar not able to actually contest him on the backup just yet. This is really sketchy for them.
It absolutely is. You don't like to see a single scout just destroying your demo like that. He's also going to clean up Scar, who's trying to come back for him. Just dancing all over him. Seeing if you can maybe make something else happen, or just escape with his life. That's also fine. Gonna actually pop out the Uber on the side of SOP here. Olga just walking around looking to connect with a player, but he doesn't even have to pop yet. And yeah, ultimately it didn't even matter. He didn't even have to pop at all. There was no immediate threat whatsoever. No pressure onto him. By the team of SOP, and they just send all their players and die.
Carnix already on last, maybe a bit risky there, but they have the Uber only on 4 people, but there's not much in front of them to have to clean up, so this might just be a simple job of just shooting what's right in front of them and do it fast, and the spawns come in, and they certainly didn't in time. So this all just about worked out, starting with the backup of Carnix, just forcing people to make weird contestation, and the one player that had to deal with it was Scar, who was already weak. He couldn't just go back there and fight, and the moment he did, he still wasn't full HP, only having taken one pack there. So they were really torn apart in decision making there, what to have to deal with, and it just worked wonderfully for the franchise.
Yeah, creating the chaos that they played against before. Just this chaotic strategies really seem to be working well for them, just dividing the attention of this SOP team, and the SOP just have to try and wreck that. That being said, Scar trying again to go for his early bomb here onto Raph, unfortunately does not manage to clean it up. No damage onto Delhi either, or at least not enough, and that's the only frag so far, surprisingly. No response here.
The control point is being captured.
Pretty decent there.
We'll have to see if they can actually continue rolling this forward, though. Let's see if, also, obviously, if SOP can hold on to the last two. With the even Ubers, this could very well be an interesting one. A very standard hold with only Uni on the sniper. He does get a nice shot onto Duo, though. That's going to open it up right there if his team wants to actually move forward, and they definitely do take a bit of ground. Actually, Uni just going so far forward through cheese there. Gonna be met by Alien, though, who doesn't kill him! He dies instead! Uni's in the shots
pretty
now.
much does. Roy getting 1 more 2, 3 down already. Prime time to just take some space on Snack, and then the sniper just not letting anyone even dare try to sack for the medic now. Very tough position to be in. Still a 2-round deficit. 7 minutes left. Time is ticking against them. They need something fast. And Unikako needs to pop off some more for that to happen.
He's been hitting his shots so far. If he can continue his little spree right now, that's definitely going to be working out well for them. He's looking to get those shots off. He's looking to get those angles, and yeah, the Frenchies are kind of scared now, I feel like. They definitely know that there's a force to be reckoned with all of a sudden on the team of SOP here, and don't want to put themselves into harm's way of Uni. They're going to have to play around the sniper a little bit more now. We're going to have to see if... And basically his entire team rests on Uni right now to make a play and open this up even further, as Duo overextends a little bit in Saw and gets punished for it. Also a body shot there onto Delhi. Not going to be able to kill him or clean him up, though. And Vori, meanwhile, goes down on the flank, and basically in an equalized situation yet again.
Yeah, they need something fast, though. The threat of Sniper is nice, but with 6 minutes on the map, that can be as slow and painful to come back on as Snakewater. It is not an easy task at hand for SOP. They are within reach of the comeback, but it is not easy at all. Scar trying his hardest with a follow-up on the sniper, neither of which working too well. Belly immediately trying to cut off Axel with the stickies, maybe biting off a bit more than he can chew. Will die as well. So, however, 2 down on their side on SOP with a quick jump by Draw behind him, gets the force. Will die as well. Frenchie still very much able to make plays here, and QB not so much, gets shut down as well on mid.
And that's basically sealing it for this hold. Even if Vori, obviously he could just whip out something wonderful right now. That's not gonna happen. He's gonna get arrowed down by Olga instead. And yeah, we're gonna be seeing the Frenchies take second here. I would be very surprised if that didn't happen. They're gonna slow down a little bit, but SOP just have to back out and try to hold this as best they can. Warp going for a high bomb, trying to get onto anything, but he cannot connect the rockets onto Olga. He's gonna get cleaned up, and that's this hold, that's this point given up to the French team, and they're gonna be rolling forward with their Uber. Pretty big advantage, by the way, as well. Seeing if they can just take this point again and basically seal the rounds, as the time will then play in their massive favor. Uber does come in. QB getting picked up very, very early here. With no sticks on the point, there's going to be a lot of point pressure coming in. All the players are scrambling to get onto the point to try and block it. They're actually going to be able to pick up Alien and Karnax. No scouts now for the blue team. But, oh, Raph barely slipping through, getting cleaned up as well. Dwell also down. No damage classes besides the demo, who's also just going to die to fall damage.
You don't kill me, I kill myself. I'm out of here.
So,
yeah.
Olga escaped, but only barely, and Drezzo stayed alive throughout all of that, so that's going to be an Uber ad.
The question now is,
here.
though, if barely is enough. 4.5 minutes, 2-round deficit. Very much doable to just play to time, but they have momentum now on SOP, and with Karnix dying as well, it's on to Draw and Raph to make a play. Raph in the backline's not quite getting much done. Second jump by Draw, mostly just to get out of here.
Looking to just make sure that they don't overextend anything or give them too much to work with here now, especially with Raph and Karnix both down again. They do not want to mess this up any more than they already have. The Frenchies, they're on the back foot, find themselves just getting rolled over point after point right now. We'll have to see if SOP can make much of it. They do lose Scar before the push even starts, but they do manage to Uber in. Olga finally responding with the Uber of his own. And it looks to be the better one, as Vori and now Drezzo go down. Not nice to see. And yeah, the players are going to be caught out in the lobby here as well. QB's going to go down. Uni's going to pick up Deli effectively. Actually, a posthumous pipe by QB is going to get the kill. But ultimately, it's a botched last push. And that's really the problem here. With 3 minutes left on the clock and 2 rounds down, you really don't want to see those. If they want to have any chance at taking the map now, at least to a golden cap, they basically have to nail this next push and then roll the last round in a minute.
And the next push will be sketchy as well, because it's just this ad already. They want to play this with non-Uber, probably the better choice, and none of them were good to begin with. So they're trying. Warp going down for the gun effectively. Raph with the counter jump to combo actually gets the better end of them as well. This is looking really sketchy already. Throw deep now as well. No one's able to cross the point really easily there.
Yeah, it's just gonna get cleaned up, and that's only Scar and Drezzo escaping with their lives, as the Uber also comes out of Olga, and they're not done chasing these players out yet. Just yet, Alien is gonna have a word with that and clean up Scar as well. It's just putting more nails into this coffin that they have already laid out for SOP. They're just telling him to lay in it as the time ticks down. And
do have one more Uber ad though, and this one needs to work straight away to have even somewhat of a chance. That's realistic. The bomb comes in by Duo, it won't get the kill. Second point getting capped up. If this round scores in the next 40 seconds, they have a chance. And they have to take it now.
They absolutely do. You gotta believe, you have to dream big if you want to have a chance here. Uber does come in immediately, very, very early. Lots of pressure, but everybody on the blue just went to the spawn. Now they're coming back out. Lots of point time though, and they actually do manage to cap it off. So
this needs to be the craziest mid-fight of all time if they want to make this to a golden cap. I was questioning if the decision to go to second here for the Frenchies was the right one to begin with. I guess with the Uber decided it didn't make too much of a difference. It really just came down to the last hole, and that one wasn't good enough. This mid-fight now needs to be, or else SOP have a very good shot at making this a 3-3 score.
Yeah, this is gonna be the round that it comes down to. SOP have to have an absolutely dominant mid right now, and they're taking absolutely no bets whatsoever. Going aggressive immediately. Raph, though, also aggressive onto Drezzo there. QB gonna go down, but Raph and Deli both gonna respond with deaths of their own. Player advantage now for SOP. No demos on either side, no stickies to watch out for. Just pure pressure there. Karnak's also gonna get cleaned up, but it's not the wipe, not the dominant mid that you're looking for just yet. And if you want to have a chance at really taking this forward, killing Olga would have definitely helped. Unfortunately, he does live and have his full Uber.
They
Who
do get
scored?
second though, which is really, really good actually off a mid where you don't kill the medic at all.
True.
It doesn't happen too much with Snakewater, so there's still a chance. Uber will waste a good amount of time. And the last shot was sketchy enough as is. Now it has a safety net of the Uber. It is really all coming down to this push right now. If SOP
This
can
has
come
to
back.
be the one. They have to push in immediately, use the Uber, and just make something happen. This is the important thing. Warped has to hit these rockets, but it's a solo Uber onto Warped, and he just cannot hit the rockets, and that's 3 players down already before Olga even has to pop. He hasn't even popped yet. He didn't even have to use his own Uber to defend. I believe that is just it. Unless
Well,
Vori
Daddy
and
3v1 to right side on his own as well. It was dire times, it definitely is showing, but fakecallers will come out on top. Even if just barely on the second map, they're hanging by and getting through with 6 points at the end of this one.
Valiant effort, though, by SOP towards the tail end there. Absolutely, they definitely have stepped up their game on Snakewater compared to Gullywash. You gotta hand it to them. Very valiant effort, and GG's to both teams for now. Surprisingly close, yeah, surprisingly close there on Snake, jeez. Wasn't expecting it after that dominant Gullywash performance, so...
Oh yeah, for sure, for sure. Big difference on these maps. Maybe I was wrong about my assumption that they just can't dominate this map again. Certainly looked like it was the case. And yeah, I mean, it was a much different story. We had a lot more gameplay for sure. Daddy again coming out on top of damage and kills by quite a bit. And despite that, still not really dying all that much. Still less than Drezzo somehow, which impressive, I guess, in its own right.
Other than that, I mean, it's definitely showing a lot closer game, right? We don't see the dominant performance.
Actually, the one that I like looking at here, seeing the difference on depth after charge, 7 to Drezzo, that's a huge difference. That just speaks volumes about how messy some of these fights were. Either way, though, we have much more importantly people joining for interviews. We have Olga, we have the artist formerly known as Juno, aka Unikeko, and QB.
Why are you calling me an artist?
I don't know, I just like to bring up that.
Either way. Cool.
Performance artist.
Sure, let's go with that. Anyway, yeah, that was an interesting game. Big shift of how this all went from like this really one-sided affair on Gully to how Snakewater went. I guess we could start with Olga as the winning team. First of all, congratulations. Second of all, finally you get your interview after I denied you last time. And third of all, like what was the big change between like the really strong Gully compared to the much shakier Snakewater for you guys?
Well, I think that you already knew that we were like Gullywash is our best map, basically. And on Snake, like there was a lot of small mistakes that we were making, so it kind of went wrong, like in many pushes and many situations where we caught something, but some people didn't hear, and so it was messy. But in the end, I mean, 6 points.
All right, I guess to the other team now as well, Kiwi. Unikeko. Obviously, Gullywash wasn't too pretty. I don't know what your expectations get going into that, but then after a tough map, still having Snakewater be a much different one where it looked doable up until the very end. How are you guys feeling about tonight?
I wanted to win.
Everybody does, obviously.
These 2 maps were all, I would say, worse maps. So we kind of expect to lose on Gullywash. And we didn't really expect a close game like this one on Snake, so we are happy with the Snake map. And I think that's it about maps.
Right, fair enough. How do you feel in general, though, about how your team performed? You know, it's like your first real match as a team in Prem, you know, against a pretty solid opponent to go up against as well in your first week. How are you feeling in general, you know, despite the loss? How you feel about your performance, especially also now looking forward into, you know, the rest of the season?
As a first match, the first maps wasn't okay, I guess, but the second one was good. Not for everyone. Like I did bad, and most of my teammates too, I guess. I don't really look like, and I don't know about Juno if he has things to say. Like I know I did bad games and like Scar too, but I hope we will just get better with the other match and scrims.
We are a team that formed like I think this team formed like last week or 2 weeks ago, and the team we're up against has played together for several seasons.
Yeah, right. That is very true. Obviously, chemistry is something that plays into it, but if you guys are playing well together,
just for comparison, like
yeah,
we haven't been able to like grind out problems as much as the other teams have been, and
yeah,
on top of
fair.
that, we have less experienced players in Prem.
That's absolutely fair. But it's what you're here for, to get that experience, to see if you can work it out.
So
looking forward.
What I mean by that is that I'm just going to look forward to like grinding out the mistakes, and games like this are going to be in the process of that.
Fair enough.
That sounds like a good mindset. I'm a fan. All right, moving from the past to the future, looking at who's the next opponent. I guess starting with Olga again. You guys are up to the Wizards Guild, a team that you, I believe, used to play already. Last time, most of them were in Prem. I don't know if you scripted much already, or if you can just only go about how you used to play against them in the past, in seasons or LAN, I think, as well. Both of you guys might have met. How are you guys feeling about that roster going into week 2?
Well, it's always like a really nice team to play against. I mean, like, if you look at our history, I think we had like many matches against this team. But I think it's pretty even matched. So, well, we'll see. I hope that we will crush them. And I think we can. But it's gonna depend because they're really strong.
Alright, confidence, I like it. And then moving on to Nikako and QB. You guys might be new roster. By technicality, so is your next opponent, Egg. However, most of them have a little bit more Prem experience than most of you guys have. How are you guys feeling? What you can do against them?
I wanna get like funny kills on like Thunder or Credu, and then pawns. That's my goal. Realistically, we're not going to win, so I wanna troll them.
Yeah, might as well make the most of it. I like it.
Yeah. Fair enough.
Clips are where it's at.
Exactly. It's all about the highlights video at the end of the season,
When you play against like a big team, like I don't know, the Tiger Credu team, and you're like a bottom Prem scrub, all you're realistically really going to go for is like meme clips.
Alright, fair enough. That's one way to look at it. Either way though,
of course, I'm not going to throw.
I mean, there's a difference between just throwing the entire time and just like at some point, just when the option is there, doing something stupid.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, as long as nobody taunts on point and dies while backcapping, it's fine.
Like some people.
Who would do that? I don't know. Weird example. Anyway, yeah, I guess we can just move on to shoutouts. Let's start at the top of the list here with QB. Anyone in particular you want to give a shout out to?
I don't really know Arda and TF2 Connection, the French community, and my friends, my teammates. Shout out to them. Deli, the Olga's team too, of course.
Alright, I guess moving on to Olga and getting shoutouts for the rest of the French community.
Well, shout out to Synonym of Perfection, obviously. Shout out to the girls for casting. Shout out to Beta for producing. And well, shout out to my mom who is screaming at me because she struggles with Netflix.
Alright. Anyone else you want to shout out? Unikeko.
Hello? Oh. Shout outs to Finland.
The entire country, alright, fair enough.
Yeah.
Alright.
And Tiger.
Surny, you anyone? Any final words here?
Obviously, shoutouts to the teams for putting on a great show. Always a blast seeing people play a great game of TF2. It's been a blast watching you guys. GG's, and yeah, shoutouts to anybody that tuned in. Shoutouts to having me, cast again, and yeah, all the usual stuff, naturally.
All right. With that, just really quick, obviously thanks to, I guess, all of my 80 very real and not fake random subs that I don't actually have. Shoutouts to Faint, shoutouts to TF2Pickup.pl for helping me out as well. And we'll see you guys on as soon as Sunday, actually, with the next Prem game, where we see Sixes against Ascend, I believe it is. Yeah, that is our Sunday game. So see you then, guys.